Huh? Appreciate it. Thank you, Trucker John Convoy. Let's fucking go. Hey, Roxanne. Hey, Susie. Up, Olga. W, what's happening? Pam, how are you? Tanya, as always, thank you for your services.
I'm standing up here bashing the living shit out of Nazis.
Fucking Nazis.
Brian, you're drunk. You're drunk.
It feels so lovely to be here tonight. What a beautiful... Give yourselves a round of applause. You're so lovely. Everyone's so lovely.
Fuck it. Let's just get right into it, guys. What do you say? Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 15,000 subscribers. Thank you so much to all of the new subscribers that came from our interviews with not only Jake Bro, but also Major Ojeda. Thank you so much. I appreciate you tuning in and staying here. If you like what you're seeing, if you like what you're hearing, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. It is free for you to do so. There's a multitude of other ways in which you could come out of pocket and help financially if your thing is supporting independent, progressive media stations that, you know, are here to fight for women, people of color, marginalized communities, better health care, and the like. Then feel free to either, you know, click that Venmo up in the corner there, send $1 or $2, become a channel member just underneath me. That's $2.99, or you can sign up at patreon.com/BostonBrian for as little as $5 for the month. So $3, $5 goes a long way to help these independent stations like mine. And again, if it's not me, if it's not Blunt Politics, if it's not Boston Brian that gives you the most value, then please support the person that gives you the most bang for your buck. And it keeps you listening. But it is Thursday, August 21st, 2025. And thank you so much again for being here. First off, thank you so much, mods. I appreciate all the work that you do in keeping that chat a safe and healthy space to engage in some discourse. Thank you so much to everybody else that's showing up day in and day out for these shows. Thank you for your support. I wish there was a better way for me to say thank you, but as always, thank you to the mods. Mods, just so you know, I'm going to try to get everybody together just for a little healthy meeting sometime in the near future. That way we can kind of touch base. You guys can kind of give me some feedback on what you guys have been seeing and anything that you guys want to work on, and then, you know, vice versa. We can kind of go back and forth. So for the mods, just kind of be looking out for an email from me, and we'll set up a meeting where we can kind of talk about where we are and where we're going. All right. I appreciate you guys. So Pam, Susie, Kathleen, Anna, Midas, Cam, what's going on? Leon, how are you? Social Butterfly, how are you? Greg, how are you? Let's go, guys. Let's fucking go. What up, Pumpkin? What up, Callie? What's happening, guys? What up, Shano? Appreciate you, brother. What up, Albert? Laurie, John, Yaakov, Yenny, how are you? Let's fucking go. What's up, Roxanne? What's up, Olga? You guys are fantastic. I appreciate you. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Very, very important that you do the free stuff if you can do it. Like I said, subscribing, sharing the stream out, liking the stream. They're all free things. We got a lot to talk about today. I don't know if you've heard, but if you're going to be in and around the Washington, D.C. area, the D.C. area tonight, not only are you going to see National Guard, not only are you going to see ICE and Border Patrol, not only are you going to see militarized action all over the place and fucking armored personnel carriers, but you also may just run into the President of the United States, who, yes, ladies and gentlemen, has now said that he's going out on patrols tonight in D.C. I shit you not. I fucking shit you not, ladies and gentlemen. He sat down with, what the fuck the guy's name there? I don't even know the guy's name. It's not even important enough for me to remember. But yeah, let me see if I can bring it up. I'll put this on the screen for you guys. I'm not even kidding. I'm not kidding. If this is the first time you're hearing about it, I am not kidding. I am not joking. Let me see if I can put this on the screen for you guys. Holy shit. Check this out. Ready? This is posted by Ron Filipkowski. Now, I heard that Trump was doing this interview, right? And I knew he was going to do it, but I'm not a huge, I don't know who the fuck Todd Stans is. Fuck, there's only so much I can cover on a daily basis, and Todd Stans isn't up there on the list of fucking things that I'm going to cover. But seeing this posted, I fucking damn near fell off my chair. Listen to this shit. Trump says he's going out on patrol in D.C. tonight with the National Guard and police, and it's just the audio from his interview. But let me see if I'll put this at the beginning. You guys, check this fucking shit out. Listen to this. Ready?
And I'm going to be going out tonight. I'm going to keep it a secret, but I'm going to go. You're the only one that knows. You and your lots of listeners. You have a great show. You have a very successful show, by the way, in case you haven't heard that. But I'm going to be going out tonight, I think, with the police, with the military, of course.
Now, as fucking sweet an idea as that sounds, like as just as dumb and moronic and stupid and idiotic and fucking ignorant and self-absorbed and sociopathic that fucking move is, like, I think I'm just going to go out on a limb and say the Secret Service might have something to say about that. I don't know. But, I mean, from a man that's had supposedly, reportedly, several attempts on his life in the not-too-distant past, I don't know if this is the best idea. I don't know. Not only that, but, again, the optics of the president himself, the fascist in charge himself, engaging in the fascist policies that he himself has implemented, again, is just something, if it does take place, it's going to be video and footage and something that's studied for a long, long time. The night that the fucking U.S. president became an actual on-the-ground fascist and joined the National Guard, the military, in fucking rounding up its own citizens. On one hand, I'm like, hey, send, like, fucking, who just said it? Laurie just said it. Send him out. On one hand, it's send him the fuck out. But on the other hand, I know just how fucking dangerous not only the actions, but also the optics of that will be. And there will be fucking downstream ramifications for a long time to come if the president does himself engage in these actions like some fucking, like Dr. Phil now. Like, you're going to be, you're an immigrant. You actually have the fucking, there's a possibility that fucking Dr. Phil and Donald Trump may be the people running up on you. If you're an asylum seeker in Washington, D.C. tonight. Fucking, that's the reality that we live in. That's the planet that we now inhabit right now. That's just fucking wild shit. And that's not even it. I posted this too. Let me see if I can find this just real quick. This was the guy that actually did the interview, Todd Starnes here, this fat fucking prick. And listen to what he says. This is what he said at the end of the broadcast. I was just kind of listening to see if they brought up any other information about, Donald Trump going on the patrol tonight. And listen to what Todd says at the end of this broadcast. I think this is very telling too. It's tough to sway people away from fascism and authoritarianism if that's what they love, if that's what they crave. Right? So people like this who are actively seeking out the president of the United States and want them to go out and cause harm to other United States citizens and asylum seekers or human beings in general. It's how do you sway somebody away from that? Listen to this fucking prick.
Does the president have a gun? Are they going to let him tase somebody? I want to see my president tase somebody tonight. That's what I want to see.
I want to see my president tase somebody tonight. That's what I want to see. I mean, how do you enter the conversation about fascism or about authoritarianism and the dangers posed by policies like that, enacted on our society today? How do you enter a conversation with somebody that is actively rooting for it? It's not like somebody that's been misinformed or disinformed or, is uneducated to the facts and doesn't understand what they're following and what they're supporting. Like, this is somebody that actively is calling out for fascism, actively calling out for the state, the head of the state, to go out and perpetrate violence and harm upon his own citizens. It keeps me up sometimes at night thinking about how you fucking even engage in a conversation. And, unfortunately, it sucks to say, and it's, nobody likes to go there in our conversations, but I mean, we have to look at what it took from the Allies in order to defeat fascism, in order to defeat Nazism the first time around, right? And unfortunately, it does take getting on their level. Unfortunately, it does take getting fucking down and dirty and playing in the mud with these fucking fascist bastards. Unfortunately, it does mean blood, sweat, and tears need to be drawn. It does mean hardship. It does mean turmoil. It does mean chaos. Unfortunately, that's the position that we've now been left in this country. We have no other options. Right? We either resist at all cost, by all means, or we lead ourselves right into the hands of these fascist bastards and what they're doing and the acts that they're perpetrating now upon our own citizens and people looking for a better life because they've fled an area of, I don't know, financial poverty or, gang violence or government corruption or all fucking three of them together. And they made a several thousand mile trek with their family through some of the harshest terrain on the planet in order to build and set up a better life here in the United States, to actively contribute to society and work and put food on the table for their family and raise their family so their kids can have kids and they can contribute to our society. So, I just kind of caught that. That was something I saw not too long before we hopped on, so I wanted to see if I could bring that to attention. Sorry, I didn't mean to go off on a tangent on that. There's a lot more that we're going to be talking about tonight. Continued Russian drone strikes. There's a video here really describing and detailing Ghislaine Maxwell's past. I don't know how many people have seen that or how many people are, familiar or intimate with the details of Maxwell's past. But that's something I wanted to share. I don't know how much we'll get through, but I wanted to at least highlight that and let you know that that's out there for your, if you want to consume that on your own time. But Russian drone strikes continued. We got video from that. We got RT praising JD Vance's comments because JD Vance was on with Laura Ingraham. We got a lot of Fox today to cover. So we got JD Vance with Laura Ingraham. We got Sean Hannity freaking out about Gavin Newsom, ironically. We got Jesse Watters doing what he does best, looking like an absolute bitch tool on television. We got somebody that we haven't taken a look at in a long time today. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. He's back. Don Jr. is back, breaking his arm, patting his dad on the back for world peace, apparently. Brian Glenn was pressed on LBC. We have a lot of the UK's reactions to Trump's meeting. A lot of clips from LBC. Again, I don't know how much of this we'll get through. This is just kind of what I have highlighted for the show. I always have more highlighted than we can actually get through with the time that we have. But I'd rather have too much than not enough, right, guys? So make sure you hit that like button. Again, I'm Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics, the political podcast, sifting through the propaganda, lies, and bullshit of the Republican Party, Donald Trump, the mainstream media, and breaking it down for normal, everyday, working class individuals like yourself, like myself, because that's who's affected by these policies, and that's basically the backbone of this country. So that's why I think it's important to talk about this as if we're friendly, sitting down at a bar, or if we're, kicking it with the family. I don't take this like I'm talking down to you guys at all. I am a chatter with a camera in front of me now, discussing my opinions on pivotal current events as it pertains to geopolitical events or, inside our own country with our domestic policy. So, that being said, let's see if we can hop into it. I appreciate you guys once and for all. Thank you so much again. Just underneath me, you can become a channel member. $2.99 for the month goes a long way. You can gift a membership or several memberships to people in the chat. There's patreon.com/Boston Brian for as little as $5 a month. That gets you included into our monthly Zooms that we have, so we can sit and chat face to face for an hour or so. Just kind of kick it and talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, your pets, your life, the weather, whatever the hell it is. But, it gets us a little bit closer. It's a lot less people that are in the chat, and we actually get to see faces behind the names of the screen names. What else? There's also Venmo, Bust a Buck, try your luck and support the independent media, because this is truly 100% independent media, owned and operated not only by you guys, but solely by you guys. So if you guys, are in the financial position to do so, please think about contributing to the channel. Thank you so much again to all our recent guests and our recent subscribers. Let's get into it. What do you say? What's the first thing that we should tackle? What's the first thing I had in my whole agenda? I have a lot of clips to get through. Oh, there's also there's so much to cover. I didn't even bring it up in the intro there, but this as well in the ongoing coverage of Israel's destruction of Gaza. Israel bombs Gaza City after launching new offensive in defiance of global outrage. Israel said Wednesday its military had entered the first stages of a planned assault on the city, a campaign it begins while clashing publicly with Western powers. This is just a short clip, less than a minute. Warning, though, the video includes images or audio some viewers may find upsetting or disturbing. Just in case, I just wanted to play this and get this information out there. So hit that like button, please, guys. Just in case people are just listening, it says on the bottom there, Palestinians in Gaza bid farewell to their loved ones as Israel begins its new offensive to seize control of the city. The gentleman speaking says, last time I was displaced to the south, but this time there's no possibility for me to move. Because our displacement is death. Displacement will have consequences more than safety. And on the screen, a family surrounding what seems to be its deceased brother, young child, laying underneath white sheets. Again, just in case you're just listening to the podcast. There is no safety anyway. Israel is letting us go south, but there's no safe spaces. We went and we saw. So that was just a little short clip there from NBC, but it goes on to say Israel launched strikes on Gaza City overnight as it moved forward with its new offensive in the Palestinian enclave. Despite international condemnation and mounting domestic protest, explosions rocked neighborhoods in the city Thursday after Israel said its military had entered the first stages of a planned assault that includes calling up 60,000 reservists, as we spoke about yesterday on the show. This operation has sent civilians fleeing once again, intensifying fears about the starvation crisis unfolding in the territory. Let me see. Sorry, I can even blow this up a little bit if you guys. Is that a little better for you guys? Israel also carried out strikes on Khan Yunis in southern Gaza, and Deir al-Bala in the center of the territory on Thursday. Video from Deir al-Bala showed people running away from a large plume of smoke. Let me see if I can get this off the screen. My apologies. The expanded campaign also throws into question ceasefire talks after Hamas said it accepted a new proposal. Israel's defiance of global pressure has led to growing tensions with its allies and enters the Gaza City campaign while clashing publicly with major Western powers. Smoke rises Thursday after an Israeli strike in Gaza City. Palestinians rush to escape after Israeli strikes on tents where displaced Palestinians live in Deir al-Bala. Tents, ladies and gentlemen, tents. You know, those all-consuming military targets known as tents. Afri Defrin, spokesperson from the Israel military, said Wednesday that Israel would intensify the strikes on Hamas in Gaza City, the political and military stronghold of the terror organization. He said the military would issue evacuation orders to minimize civilian casualties. And again, this is amongst widespread protest inside of Israel that we covered on the show as well. The military said it had begun to notify, quote, medical officials and international organizations in the northern Gaza Strip in order to prepare for the evacuation of the population to southern Gaza Strip. For Palestinians who have faced repeated displacement, there is a sense of weariness in Gaza City. Riyad Ashan Kantana said there was no safe spaces in the enclave. That's what we just heard. Last time I was displaced to the south, but there's no possibility for us to move because our displacement is death. Let's face it, with honor next to our homes. There is no safety anyway. Israel is letting us go south, but there are no safe places. On screen is a horrific picture of a destroyed camp that housed displaced Palestinians in Deir al-Bala. I mean, just utter destruction on the screen. Devastation. ceasefire. Let's see. The humanitarian system is collapsing day by day. Ahmed al-Shawa said, the director of the umbrella Palestinian group NGO Network, told NBC News, "We have almost nothing in our warehouses to deliver to the people." The United Nations Body for Palestinian Refugees, UNRWA, said that nearly 1 in 3 children in Gaza City were now malnourished. So the tragedy continues to unfold, and it continues to get worse without action from international organizations, without action and pressure from countries with the power to do so, such as the United States. While Benjamin Netanyahu and his genocidal fucking regime have free reign to do as they please and continue to lay waste upon an entire population of people, then we're going to continue to see shit like this. So hopefully the ongoing protests that we saw coming from the Palestinian civilians, from the Israeli civilians, grows into something that turns into action in the removal of Benjamin Netanyahu. So that we can start, clawing our way back to fucking humanity in that area, because right now they have lost all sense and all hope of fucking humanity with what's going on there, and it's absolutely fucking disgusting. So I just wanted to make sure that we brought that to everybody's attention. But this is the, let's see here, bring it up here. I already showed you that one. Here we go. This is the other incident and altercation that I wanted to talk about. Obviously, oops, excuse me, sorry, wrong button. Which was the drone strikes, the ongoing drone strikes from Russia. Russia launched a massive drone strike on Ukraine with nearly 575 drones and 40 missiles. One of the biggest of the war, an American electronics plant in Zakarpattia, was hit, injuring multiple people. This is a result of weak, feckless U.S. president who refuses to hold Putin accountable. That was posted by Republicans against Trump. Let's see if we can take a look at these pictures here. This was the plant that was hit. And then I believe there was one more here of Putin shaking hands with Donald Trump. But, Putin's savage barrage of 574 drones and 40 missiles targeting an American plant and wounding innocents exposes him as a bloodthirsty tyrant he truly is, emboldened by spineless enablers. Absolutely. And then it goes on to, even Kate from Kharkiv was talking about it. Let's see. I thought she had something to say. Yeah, rise of chemical poison in the Dnipro region. And then she goes on to talk about the nonsense that JD Vance was talking about in his sit down with Laura Ingraham, which we'll absolutely take a look at. But there's, did you guys see this too? That James Dobson died? Fucking good riddance. Ding dong, the fucking witch is dead. Is it bad that I hope he choked for several minutes before he took his last breath? Sorry, but I do. There's so much that I want to get into. I want to show you guys this too, because I think it's very important to hear, the takes in the comments and what people are thinking from around the world, and not just in our own spaces here, and what people are like, how they view the meetings and how they view Donald Trump's actions and his appeasement of Vladimir Putin. James O'Brien had some really good thoughts going into the Alaska summit. I believe this was even before the Alaska summit. I also have several other videos here. Let's see, what were the other ones? Yeah, I also had Brian Glenn was on LBC. He kind of got pressed a little bit for his comments about Zelensky's outfit, his suit. There was this one here. Let me see if I can put this on the screen.
So
this one here.
Before you give me your reaction.
Didn't mean to play it. This says, caller says, James had no hope for the Alaskan summit. He and Matthew agreed that it was an absolute gift for Putin, and the Russian president came out the winner. That's just kind of, an example of some of the thoughts and rhetoric being put out now by, our good friends and allies over in the UK there. So I wanted to see if we could dive into a little bit of that. But before we do, I always struggle with what I want to dive into first, because I feel like it's all incredibly important. But let's start off where I originally had my notes starting off, which was this one. I'm not sure how much we'll get through of this, but this was something that I think people should definitely brush up on, should definitely take a look at. Gives you good insight into the motives of a person like Ghislaine Maxwell. I don't know if anybody has seen this. This was posted to YouTube by an account called The List. Not hugely familiar with them. But this was the truth about Epstein and Maxwell's infamous relationship. Not sure if you guys have seen any of this. Let me see if I can put this at the beginning, make this big. We'll watch just a few minutes of this and see if it gives us, again, any further insights. I'm going to speed it up just a touch, and away we go. Oop. Do we have to be helpful if I put on the sound like this?
Activities came to light in 2019. One can't hear the names Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein without disgust. But what was their relationship, and how did it begin? When Maxwell first met Epstein in 1991, she was a young British socialite who just moved to New York. Her father, UK.
So it goes through like the whole thing. It goes through the past of, Ghislaine Maxwell's father buying, a certain fucking news agency or paper and not having enough money to do so, and he stole money from the retirement funds of people, and she kind of had to fucking flee towards Jeffrey Epstein and his money to continue the lifestyle that she wanted to live. It's fucking crazy, just how this whole thing played out and how, Donald Trump ends up fucking face first, neck deep in all of it.
Media mogul Robert Maxwell had recently acquired the New York Daily News. This put her firmly among New York's society set. Maxwell seemed all set to live the high life without a hitch. Maxwell was used to the kind of lifestyle men like Epstein led. She grew up that way, even if her father wasn't as financially well off.
And again, reminder, this is the person that was granted fucking special work permits and work requirement access and special access to minimum security prisons after being convicted as a sex trafficker, after being convicted as a fucking pedophile. They're now given special treatment by Donald Trump and Donald Trump's administration. And this kind of gives us good insight as to why.
Appeared. The truth was his business was in the red and he'd borrowed heavily from his company's pension funds, which came to light after he died in a mysterious boating accident in November 1991.
The total amount missing from the Mirror pension funds.
Listen to this. The Mirror's pension funds were missing how much?
Came to £763 million.
763 million pounds was stolen from the fucking pension funds in order to make the purchase, if I took this correctly, if I heard this correctly, by her father of the news outlet there.
Suddenly, Maxwell's shiny New York life and social status were in peril. She moved into a tiny apartment and her future was uncertain.
But I don't feel in any way smaller or lesser than what I was before.
That's when Epstein came to her rescue. The pair quickly grew close, and by the time 1992 rolled around, there was speculation that...
Now listen to how much Jeffrey Epstein was worth in 1992.
Maxwell and Epstein were a couple. Looking back at when and how Maxwell and Epstein first got close, it would be logical to think she held on tight to him because of his massive bank account. At the time, Epstein was worth an estimated $559 million, and
$559 million in 1992? From a guy that used to be a fucking teacher? I mean, that's fucking remarkable wealth in 1992. And just goes to show the reach, right? The fucking power that Jeffrey Epstein had at this time.
Maxwell's family money was gone, but as long as she was with him, she was able to continue living the rich life, and her socialite status was secure. During Maxwell's New York sex trafficking case, prosecutor Laura Pomerantz made this arrangement crystal clear in her opening statement, saying, "These girls were just a means to support her lifestyle, a way for the defendant to make sure that Epstein remained satisfied so that the defendant could stay in the lifestyle to which she was accustomed." Several witnesses...
So we're not going to get through a ton of this video. I put the link, I just dropped the link in the chat for you guys if you want to take a look at this yourself, if you got the time to kind of go through the whole thing. But I just, obviously, the more information we know about this, the more power and knowledge that we have at our disposal in this fucking situation about this case, the better. So I just think every bit of knowledge that we have, every bit of fucking evidence that we can come out with is only strengthening our case on the left against not only people like Ghislaine Maxwell, but also Donald Trump and his administration and the DOJ for covering this up.
Reported Pomerantz's statement, banker Patrick McHugh told the courts that Maxwell received over $30 million in payments from Epstein between 1999 and 2007.
1999 and 2007, she received over $30 million from Jeffrey Epstein. And this kind of goes on to talk about like what was the extent of their relationship. I guess it was, widely discussed if they were a couple, not a couple, intimate, not intimate, whatever. Not sure. That's clearly that's not the important part of this whole thing. So, kind of glance past what they're trying to get. But I mean, it is really important to know why she got into this situation, how her mind works, what was she trying to do, why she was in this circle, and fucking why she was so callous and fucking heartless and soulless that she could put these young girls, these underage girls, in a position that she was putting them in solely for her benefit, solely so she could continue her fucking rich and fabulous lifestyle.
All of this money was used to buy a $7.35 million helicopter. One accuser told the court Maxwell had boasted about the property Epstein bought her, saying, "She told me that she owned her house in New York City and that Jeffrey had got it for her." Epstein doesn't appear to have been the kind of person who did anything for free. Just as he was a means for Maxwell to maintain her lifestyle, she was key to Epstein expanding his social circle. She knew people in high places, including British royals, American politicians, and plenty of celebrities. While Epstein was rich, he was socially awkward. Maxwell was a social butterfly who knew how to work a room.
They became totally dependent on each other in a weird way.
Columnist and publicist R. Corey Hay believed Maxwell and Epstein's relationship was always more transactional than romantic. Telling the Daily Mail, Ghislaine was a classic social climber, only interested in people who were rich and entitled and powerful. The 90s saw Epstein and Maxwell mingling with the likes of former U.S. President Bill Clinton and Prince Andrew, and Donald Trump's friendship with Epstein was always on display.
Always on display. Always on display.
Despite his recent denials of their relationship. According to Hay, these kinds of connections wouldn't have been possible.
Now, again, I know that is a much played video clip, much talked about, but what the fuck do you have to say that is so horrendously disgusting that it makes Jeffrey Epstein bend over in embarrassment and fucking disgust himself? Like, that's what I want to know.
For Epstein, without Maxwell as his wingwoman.
Remember that it was his girlfriend that was the key element in this.
Hay went on to explain, Jeffrey liked to collect people. The fact she could produce someone such as Prince Andrew made her a star in his eyes. I saw them at a very grand party once, and she might as well have been leading him around on a leash. She was his crutch.
Right, and this goes to show, goes to back up and corroborate Virginia Giuffre's testimony when she was interviewed, saying that Ghislaine Maxwell was the actual fucking leader of this. She was the ringleader. She was the monster. She was the devious one and engaged in even more devious and monstrous things than Jeffrey Epstein did. She was the one picking these girls out and introducing them to these monsters, right? This was said by one of the victims. And now this is just going on to further corroborate her interview, her testimony during that interview.
She was asked what her relationship with Epstein was, and was it a relationship? And she sort of answered saying she wasn't really sure.
While Maxwell and
this is kind of where it goes on to, deliberate and debate whether or not they were, an actual couple, an intimate couple. It gives even further detail into their past. Let's see here if I can just kind of skip it forward and give you a little piece of what else this talks about here. Here we go.
Defender, Maxwell didn't break things off with him entirely. Privately, the two remained close.
So this talks about, I missed it just by a second, but this talks about after Jeffrey Epstein had been exposed as a pedophile, after Jeffrey Epstein's crimes had been exposed and the communications that they, how they kept in touch, how they kept in communication. Again, same way Donald Trump did after Jeffrey Epstein was exposed as a pedophile and a fucking sex trafficker.
In emails exchanged between the duo that has since been made public, Epstein assured Maxwell she was in the clear, emailing her, "You have done nothing wrong, and I would urge you to start acting like it. Go outside, head high, not as an escaping convict. Go to parties, deal with it."
That's Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell after, again, his criminalities had been made public. "You have done nothing wrong, and I would urge you to start acting like it. Go outside, head high, not as an escaping convict. Go to parties, deal with it." Might as well say, call Donald.
In a 2016 deposition, Maxwell admitted that she didn't cut ties with Epstein after he was convicted, and that she was still involved in business relating to his properties during that time.
Still involved with business related to Jeffrey Epstein's properties during the time after he was, outed publicly as a pedophile and child sex trafficker.
Deposition testimony didn't do her any favors when she faced her own charges in 2020. She testified, "I'm a very loyal person, and Jeffrey was very good to me when my father passed away. I felt that it was a very thoughtful, nice thing for me to do to help in a very limited fashion."
Help. And by help, she means fucking, go throughout the planet and take vulnerable young girls, underage girls, and feed them to monsters for their own pleasure so that she could keep receiving her fucking lavish gifts and living her lavish lifestyle.
While Maxwell wasn't directly implicated in Jeffrey Epstein's 2006 indictment, the public and the media became suspicious of her in the 2010s. Giuffre claimed Prince Andrew assaulted her when she was just 17, and that the encounter had been orchestrated by Epstein and Maxwell. Maxwell vehemently denied the allegations, calling Giuffre a liar. This was the beginning of the end for Epstein and Maxwell, as well as—
It even goes on to talk about a potential baby that they had, showing a picture of Jeffrey Epstein with Ghislaine Maxwell, with Jeffrey Epstein's hand on Ghislaine Maxwell's stomach, very reminiscent of a picture you would take if you were about to have a baby. Let me see if I can find that. Give me just a second. Did I miss it already? Maybe it's close. I think they're on like a bridge, and he's got his hand on her stomach. Let me see if it picks it up here.
Ashamed or alarmed, but merely dismissive. She was simply a girlfriend hiring his masseuses, and they had all been legitimate and weren't underage. Ian Maxwell, Ghislaine's brother, told Insider his sister was never involved in Epstein's crimes, insisting the idea that somehow Ghislaine would spend any time at all in this horrible, sleazy world that we now know he was attracted to is absurd. The idea that she would be some kind of a madam, it really is grotesque. Despite Maxwell's desperate attempt to prove her innocence, she was found guilty of 5 of the 6 charges.
I may have skipped it already. I forgot I skipped ahead. Let me see if I can just... Oh, here it is right here. Here it is right here. Check this out. This is where they talk about a possible child.
Published by the Daily Mail.
Look, here's the picture. Here's the picture. Look at his hand. Look at his hand. Right? I mean, does that not... I'll even take... Hold on, let me take the banner off. Oh, thank you so much. Hold on, I didn't see what it was. Thank you, Slacks. Thank you so much, brother. Appreciate that. Love to beautiful Mel and Duggery Dog. Logan, love to all my fellow Bryantologists. Greetings right back at you, Slacks. I appreciate you, dude. I really, really do. Thank you to everybody contributing. You too, just like Bobby Slacks, can contribute to this show, whether it be $1 or $2. Doesn't have to be a whole hell of a lot. It really doesn't. If everybody kind of pops in and contributes just a little bit, then we can go a long, long way. I promise. But check out his left hand on her stomach, right? Now, doesn't that seem kind of reminiscent of somebody that's celebrating an upcoming pregnancy? I think so. I think one could argue that's what that means. I mean, not that that's fucking hugely important, but I would advise you to kind of check out and brush up on any of these, past stories, past fucking, any past evidence that you need to brush up on in order to get yourself right for, again, a debate or negotiations or trying to sway somebody politically and who to vote for and bringing up this situation. The more informed we are, the better, right? That's why Republicans want to keep fucking people stupid. They want to keep kids stupid and uneducated and easily manipulated so that they can put through their propaganda without any fucking problems of pushback. Us on the left, we think education, we believe education is the cornerstone or is one of the cornerstones of our society. And the more education you have and the more knowledge you have on a more fucking widespread area of subjects, the better off you'll be. And the better chance you'll have of coming out with the right outcome, coming out on the right path. If you're faced with challenges, if you're faced with fucking problems or a crossroads in your life, right? Let's see here. What else did we have? We also had, let's go on to this next one here. Let me see if we can either do, we can either do JD Vance on Laura Ingraham. We can do Sean Hannity, Jesse Watters, Don Jr., Brian Glenn, James O'Brien. There's so much. Why don't we, I'm just going to kind of go at random. I'll go at random. Let's do, well, Newsom's kind of been making the rounds, right? Newsom's been making the headlines. Why don't we do this one? Because, hold on. Sean Hannity seems to be really upset. He's really upset with the way Gavin Newsom's been speaking online, and he's going to tell people about it. Here, let me see if I can speed this up because fuck Sean Hannity. We'll go 1.15. That should work. And let's see what this fucking squarehead's going to say.
Welcome to Hannity and breaking tonight. It is official. The Texas House has approved.
Can I just say, I've seen the middle pot. I've seen the side pot. I've never seen the side middle pot. Is that a side pot or is that supposed to be a middle pot, Sean? What's going on here? Why is it just slightly off center? Can you do the side pot or the middle pot? Can you stop splitting the difference there?
congressional map, which could net Republicans up to 5 additional seats in the very important midterm elections in 2026. And if Democrats turn this into a nationwide redistricting fight, which I hope they do, they will lose badly, as there is little to nothing left for them to gerrymander in blue states. And congratulations to Governor Greg Abbott. A job well done. We'll have more on that straight.
Well, we'll just fucking see about that now, won't we, Sean? Won't we just see about that? Apparently, Sean thinks the Democrats are fucking helpless. They're defenseless. They can't go on the offense. We'll just fucking see about that, Sean.
Right ahead tonight. Also, White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller, our friend, just diagnosed.
Where's your pocket, Chief? You see Miller's coat? Look at Stephen Miller's jacket. No fucking pocket? Was your tailor hate you that much? Your tailor must be a person of color, Stephen.
It's one of the worst political problems in D.C. Right on the money. Take a look.
So we're going to ignore these stupid white hippies that all need to go home and take a nap because they're all over.
Yeah, we already heard the fascist douchebag talk yesterday about that. I'm curious what you have to say about Gavin Newsom. Let's get into it.
Into the White House, pay very close attention. Despite what is a vast, stunning natural resources in California, great weather, beautiful geography, beautiful oceans, the Golden State has become totally unlivable for so many Americans after years.
Really? Hold on. No, I'm looking out the window here in Southern California. It looks quite livable. Looks very beautiful out, actually. Sunny, about 85, 91, excuse me. Hot out today. But no, it looks quite livable. Does look quite livable.
Democratic one-party rule, Californians, look at these numbers. They are fleeing the state in droves with the largest net migration in the entire country. It's
also the biggest state. Right. I mean, so what the fuck? I mean, in the grand scheme of things, 239,000 people out of the population of California is fucking minute. Right?
Recently lost a congressional seat for the first time ever and is projected to lose at least 4 more seats by 2030. So let us be clear. The state's radical Democratic agenda, led by our old friend Gavin Newsom, is to blame for all of this. Unfortunately, that might be news to Gavin. His attention seems to be elsewhere, embarrassing himself, running for president. In fact, he's now so totally fixated and focused on...
I hope you guys understand the lack of self-awareness these people have in calling out Gavin Newsom, quite literally just mocking Donald Trump's rhetoric and speech pattern and fucking all caps and the shit that he puts out on social media. And now to see Fox News and Sean Hannity and Laura Ingraham and Dana Perino lose their fucking minds over this, like it's Gavin Newsom trying to be serious, and he's like really doing this to try to gain favor with people, as opposed to just clearly mocking Donald Trump and his childlike fucking antics and rhetoric, is a fucking a thing to behold. It really is a thing of beauty here.
Doing whatever he can do to win his party's 2028 nomination is like he changes every single hour of every day. And frankly, it's getting hard to watch. Even morning liberal Joe agrees with me. Now, currently, he and his social media team, they are busy trying to mock President Trump on X by posting messages.
So he gets it. He understands. He just said it there. They're trying to mock President Trump, right? But then they go on to take it as if Gavin Newsom is being deadly serious with his fucking post here.
All caps. He's trying to pretend to be Donald Trump. Gavin is also attacking Fox News hosts. He's trying to bait conservatives into social media fights. He's actually referred to our own Tommy Laren's account as Yelp for toilets. Gee,
that's fucking funny.
Very clever and funny. She'll join us.
That's fucking funny.
In a moment to respond. Gavin, look, I know Gavin. In person, he can be a very likable guy. I know he's slick. I got it.
Be careful, Shawno. Be careful.
I've got his number. But unfortunately, it is his radical policies. That's where the disaster is for him. Pretending to be President Trump is not only embarrassing, it will not negate the disastrous policies and positions.
He's not pretending to be him. He's mocking the shit out of him. You complete fucking fool. There's a big difference. There's a big difference. He's not imitating for flattery's purposes. He's mocking for mockery purposes.
And the horrible state that California is in. Now, that includes Gavin's campaign to woo conservatives. First, he was going to be a podcaster and interview Steve Bannon and Charlie Kirk. That didn't work out after he got caught, of course, in an embarrassing lie, actually one after another. Take a look.
the Latinx stuff. That, by the way, not one person ever in my office has ever used the word Latinx.
So can we finally put that to bed?
Yeah,
agree?
But where did that even?
No more Latinx,
like,
everybody.
Well, I just didn't even know where it came from. I'm like, what?
All right, and we all have our fucking gripes and complaints with this episode, with this fucking attempt at a podcast from Gavin Newsom, and sitting down with the people that he sat down with, and the shit that he was said. We all have our problems with it. It was brought up. It was called out. I think it was rightly called out and rightly brought up by multiple different fucking people on all different sides of the political fucking aisle. But that doesn't take away from the success that he's now seeing with at least getting under the skin of MAGA and Donald Trump with his fucking imitation online of Donald Trump's fucking childish bullshit.
What are people talking about? I hope we can really paint a picture in terms of our consciousness of how impactful.
Hannity's fucking boring, huh? Maybe you'll consider focusing on your day job. Maybe help end crime, homelessness, lower taxes. People in your state of Wales.
He's not very good at this anymore. He's not. I gotta say,
changed year after year based on polling and trends.
That must be the serious mouth whistle that he's got. Seriously turns people away from the seriousness of the situations. Seriously, but no, I can't do it. I can't fucking I can't bear to look at fucking Hannity's face. There's got to be something more. There's got to be something better. There's got to be something better out there. Let me mark that as shit. Yep, put the fucking shit on that one. What else can we watch? I want to save that one. Let's take a look at Brian Glenn getting pressed on LBC. What do you say?
Let's talk to him right now, shall we? Brian Glenn is White House correspondent of Real America's Voice. Good to have you with us on LBC, Mr. Glenn. Let's go back to February, that question you decided to ask Vladimir Zelensky about his suit.
And again, this is Brian Glenn from, I don't even know where he's at now. Not RSBN, is it Newsmax, OAN? I'm not even sure. This is MTG's boo-boo getting questioned on LBC in Britain about his past question about Zelensky's suit, and then the exchange that he and Zelensky had, where Zelensky got that fucking zinger in about how Brian Glenn was wearing the exact same suit he was wearing last time. But again, Brian Glenn is not on Fox News, he's not on OAN, he's not on Newsmax, and he finds out very quickly that he's not in this interview. And again, let's see. I like seeing Brian Glenn get pressed at all opportunities. So let's see if we can take a look at this one.
Why was that what you decided to push him on?
Well, there had always been so much speculation amongst Americans.
I have just never quite seen, ladies and gentlemen, I've never seen it in my life. I've never seen a guy's fucking forehead go all the way to the fucking bottom of his eyelids. Like the bro's got no eyes. It's just straight forehead from the fucking middle of his skull straight down to where his eyes blink. The dude literally blinks his forehead. Like, what the fuck is going on with this guy's mug here? Looks like he's been... His fucking forehead just goes right down to his eyes. There's no eyelid. Somebody just like painted fucking eyebrows on his forehead and called it a day. All right, sorry.
That why doesn't Zelensky ever put on proper attire when he's visiting world leaders? And so that was a question that had actually been circulating for a while.
Where does it say that he has to? Can you show me that?
So that when he showed up to the Oval Office back in February, it wasn't wearing a suit. I thought it was rather appropriate to ask that question. Now, that question was not meant to insult Ukrainians. It was not meant to diminish the value of what's going on in the war. It was simply calling.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what it was meant to do, because otherwise you'd be asking about the pressing issues and the people dying in the war, and not what the fucking head of state, the president of Ukraine, is wearing to the meeting. So I think just the line of questioning in and of itself shows your lack of fucking care, your lack of self-awareness, your lack of fucking knowledge on the situation, without words even having to come out of your fucking mouth.
Out maybe what we perceived as a lack of self-respect for the presidency, for the Oval Office, and for really $380+ billion that American taxpayers have.
Now it's $380+ billion. The number just continues to grow exponentially with every fucking blink of Brian Glenn's forehead. It's ridiculous how astronomically fucking high they have to make the number in order for it to sound impressive, in order for it to sound like, I don't know, fucking scary. Because in reality, it should be that much. It should be even more. But no, we have not, in fact, given $380 billion to Ukraine.
Been contributing towards
what was
his fight
what was
against
disrespectful
Russia.
about it?
Well, this is the highest office in the world. I think you and I can both agree. There's no other higher figure than President Trump as well on a global stage. And it's just that's the attire when you go to the White House. That's
Which says fucking who? And then, rightly so, the LBC journalist here, the LBC reporter, goes on to question him about what Elon Musk wore into the Oval Office on several occasions and why Brian Glenn failed to call that out.
It's not if you're Elon Musk and you turn up in a t-shirt and a baseball cap. No one had a problem then. You didn't grill Elon Musk about it.
Well, here's the biggest difference about that. Elon Musk was saving American taxpayers billions of dollars in his Doge, and we were given, it's a big
Well,
difference.
no, he wasn't. And B, that wasn't the argument that you made, as the LBC guy goes on to talk about.
Elon Musk is saving
that's not the point you were making. The point you were making is it's disrespectful to go into the Oval Office not being suitably dressed. I mean, there is a photo of Elon Musk in a t-shirt and a ridiculous hat clowning around in the Oval Office.
Yeah, your question I've heard a dozen times, and I'm going to answer it just like I'm answering it now. Elon Musk is saving American taxpayers money.
So what you're saying is he gets to do and wear and say anything he wants because you agree with what he's doing, when in fact you disagree with the way Zelensky's handled the war. You don't care about the plight of the Ukrainian people. So therefore it does matter what Zelensky wears into the White House. You see how that fucking hypocrisy works?
Giving Ukraine hundreds of billions of dollars.
It's not the Ukraine. It's just Ukraine, you fucking Russian propaganda Kremlin piece of shit.
There is a big difference.
So it's not really then about what you wear in the Oval Office. It's about the history. It's about Zelensky.
I tell you what, why don't you try it? You come to the Oval Office and we'll see what happens if you show up in a t-shirt.
But why is it, Elon, why is it okay?
Now he's a tough guy. Fucking, he's around MTG for a couple months. All of a sudden he's a tough guy.
The point is,
see what happens when you get your ass kicked every night by MTG. You're gonna start taking your frustrations out elsewhere.
You're missing the point here.
No, I'm not missing
American.
No, he's very much on point. He's very much calling out the accurate hypocrisy of what you're saying in the fucking asinine way in which you went about greeting a man who's currently at war.
Taxpayers are giving Ukraine. If someone provides you with billions of dollars, wouldn't you want to somewhat show appreciation? You show up in a
and they have, and Zelensky has, but I don't think what he's fucking wearing is a sign of the appreciation, right? I'm not going to call him out because his boots, I don't like his boots, and apparently that's a sign of disrespect. And now apparently he doesn't appreciate all the weapons and the aid that we've given because I guess he's wearing boots I don't like.
In the same way as if I was a businessman and the president had appointed me to a very, very senior, powerful position, I would wear a suit to work. Yes. Elon Musk didn't. I think that's disrespectful, isn't it?
Well, I don't see it that way, nor do the American people.
They just cannot fucking get themselves on the right track, right? They cannot just stick to a belief, stick to a policy, and implement that across the board, regardless of who they're talking about. They're just fucking incapable of doing so. They are soulless hacks with zero beliefs, zero fucking actual policies that they depend upon. It's fucking unreal.
So I'll just say it that.
What did you make?
The American people, look, the only people saying that are people who hate President Trump to begin with. Anybody in the MAGA base sees what Elon Musk did for the American people, saving waste, fraud, and abuse. They like what he did. They don't care if he shows up in a bathing suit. But when
there you go. Doesn't matter if Elon Musk shows up in a bathing suit because he's liked. Well, apparently he was liked by the MAGA base at one point, so it doesn't matter. But because they dislike Zelensky, that's why you're calling out what he's wearing. And that's the point trying to be made by the LBC reporter, and I think he does a great job of doing so. But I like when Brian Glenn thinks he's going on to a friendly interview and realizes really quickly that he's not on Newsmax or OAN or fucking RSBN or any one of those hacks, propaganda arms of the Trump administration. Right. So let's see here. There was other reactions too to his meeting. Let's see if we can jump into this one. Let's jump into this one because we haven't tackled this asshole in a long time. It's been a while since we've put this guy's fucking face on the screen, and rightfully so. But this is Don Jr. This is his takes on the recent meetings with Zelensky and Trump and European leaders. So let's see what bullshit and propaganda Don Jr. is trying to, display and fucking spew in this one. All right, guys, please make sure you hit that like button. It's very important that you do so. We're trying to call out right-wing propaganda. We're trying to call out the bullshit of the Republican Party, Donald Trump, Don Jr., the mainstream media, whoever it may be. And we're trying to break it down for, again, everyday, normal, working class individuals who make this country run on a daily basis, like you, like me. So please, share your love for independent media. Please, if you're in the position to do so, feel free to contribute financially, either by Venmo up in the corner. There's a PayPal, patreon.com/Boston Brian. You can do a super chat, a super sticker. Yeah, honestly, guys, think of if all 200 and something people, 300 people gave $1 right now, how far that could go every single show, and how much burden that would take off of the people that, continuously gift financially to this show. So I appreciate you guys. Hit that like button. Oh, thank you, dude. Thank you. Appreciate that, Tomas. So we got to get it right. If you're going to be so generous to contribute to the show, I might as well get it right. But thank you so much for that 10 gift. Make sure if you're one of the 10 fabulous individuals that was just gifted a membership by Tomas, that you please thank Tomas for his generosity. All right, let's get into it. Let's see if the coked up man has taken his medication this time. Oh, my apologies. That's not that. That's this one. Here we go.
Can't overstate the significance of what we all saw yesterday. We saw my father as the undisputed global leader, the leader of the free world.
Is that what you guys got from that? What's up, Peter? What's up, brother? Junkhead Jr. Is that what you guys took away from these meetings? That Donald Trump was firmly in control of the free world? Is that what you gathered from these fucking meetings? Is that what you took away? Is that what your takeaway was from this? Because apparently Don Jr. Saw something that no one else in the world saw stemming from these meetings.
Sitting down with European leaders and President Zelensky to discuss.
Is he fucking stoned? Oh, thank you, Patrick. Thank you so much, Patrick, for all that you do, for all that you continue to do, for all that you've done in the past as well. Big help to this channel, big part of this community. Thank you so much, fucking Patrick. You guys are absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Appreciate it. And is Don Jr. stoned? Did somebody slip this guy a couple fucking Mickeys? Somebody slipped this guy in a couple edibles before he went on? Because what happened to fucking Don Jr. that's usually typically like this? Seems like he's on fucking half speed. Do I have this slowed down? No, it's on normal speed. Normal speed. I don't know what's going on here. I'm a little worried about Don Jr.'s health.
Forward for peace. And guys,
what the fuck?
It's historic.
How is this not slowed down? I'm sorry. Is this not slowed down?
Of what we all saw yesterday. We saw my father as the undisputed global leader, the leader of the free world, sitting down with European leaders and President Zelensky to discuss.
Is he shit-faced? What the fuck is going on here? I don't even know if he drinks. I don't know if it's been reported that he does or doesn't drink. I don't know what's going on here, but this is not the tip. He must have fucking, maybe his coke guy got arrested, right? Maybe he's struggling to find the fucking re-up on the coke. I know he's not struggling to find the stains on his shirts. What the fuck's going on here? What the fuck's going on in his left shoulder and his right shoulder? What the fuck? What a fucking pig. All the money in the world can't buy you class, ladies and gentlemen. All the money in the world can't buy you class. And if fucking anybody proves it, it's Don Jr.
Pathway forward for peace.
What is going on? What? Why is he so slow?
The leader of the free world, sitting down with European leaders and President Zelensky to discuss a pathway forward for peace. And
holy shit! Like he's on fucking tranquilizers. You got a fucking dart in your neck, man. Is this bad? I don't know what you're saying, but I like when you say it. He's fucking been tranquilized, dude. Holy shit. It's like somebody's fucking Colombian white powder was doused with a little fucking Fent, I think. Trying to bring him the other way. Are you listening to this? I mean, am I going crazy? This isn't, I know we haven't listened to seen Don Jr. in a while here on the show, but good Lord, what's happened?
The leader of the free world, sitting down with European leaders and President Zelensky to discuss a pathway forward for peace. And guys, it is historic. It follows the Alaska summit with Putin on Friday, and the images
that resulted in absolutely nothing. That Donald Trump going into said if they didn't if they didn't come to some sort of ceasefire deal, ceasefire agreement, that severe consequences would be enacted upon Russia. That's what he said going into the meeting. Coming out of the meeting, now a ceasefire is not a thing that we should be calling for. Now, we don't need a ceasefire. Let the boys go on killing while we deal with this in the back rooms is now Donald Trump's position on this. So it's funny how that complete 180 has taken place just since his meeting with Vladimir Putin.
We saw yesterday inside the White House will surely have an impact on how the Russians approach this war moving forward. There is no auto pen here, folks.
Bro, he is fucking loose right now. He is whacked. He can't even get the scent. This is not, usually Don Jr. is like, fucking hands are moving all over the place. You can't shut the fucking guy up. I might have to speed this up to like fucking 1.5 times just to make it sound normal.
Is just the opposite. It's actual action. And when you look at the photos from the East Room and at the Oval Office yesterday, you can see how much confidence they all
like this is this is 1.25 and it sounds slightly slower than he normally is anyway.
The guy that many of them probably talked about, and certainly the mainstream media talked about.
Thank you, Jamie.
The future.
Thank you so much for the $1 on Venmo. I appreciate that. Every dollar counts. Every dollar helps. I really mean it too. There's absolutely no such thing as a contribution that is not meaningful. So regardless of how much it is, I thank you all the same. So thank you so much, guys.
Charles of World War III is actually the guy who's most likely to prevent it from ever happening.
No, he's the most likely to give the people that are ready to perpetrate World War III what they want in order to appease them so that he could stop or, avoid World War III so that he could get the Nobel Peace Prize. So he's willing to give away the farm in order to stop this, but it's for all the wrong reasons, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's doing this for 100% selfish reasons, and he's willing to give up anything possible, anything he can, in order to make that selfish fucking reality, come to fruition.
For example, here's Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni yesterday.
Well, something is changing. Something has changed thanks to you.
This meeting, he wore a suit. He was less.
Here we go. Here's where Don Jr. gets on Zelensky in his suit because only the really fucking important things are being discussed by, the son of the president of the United States here on his podcast.
He seemed thankful and grateful.
Name triggered.
For the efforts and money and everything that America has put.
Why is he so slow? Guys, this is on 1.25, right? This is still on 1.25, and he still looks like he's been fucking tranquilized.
And did you notice Zelensky's change in posture and tone compared to, say, I don't know, his previous Oval Office meeting?
You see him? He's smiling and laughing and he said, thank you. He wore a black suit. Oh, did you see him? Oh.
Or a suit. He was less adversarial. He seemed thankful and grateful for the efforts and money and everything that America has put leading this effort. And he had a totally different disposition. Most importantly, I guess he didn't make the cardinal sin of trying to renegotiate a deal on live camera with Donald Trump, but minor details. Guys, here's a clip from when the Oval Office meeting yesterday started. Check it out.
Thank you very much for being here.
Thanks so much.
Holy scalp. Holy scalp. Now, don't ask me why that's the first thing I notice, but holy scalp, Donald Trump. Jesus Christ. Looks like a fucking newborn baby's ass. It's so pink. Look at that scalp. Propecia is not cutting it anymore. D-bag.
Mr. President, if I can, first of all, thank you for invitation and thank you very much for your efforts, personal efforts to stop killings and stop this war. Thank you. And using this opportunity. Many thanks to your wife. Firstly,
You know what this is? This is Volodymyr Zelensky playing the fucking pot. This is Volodymyr Zelensky just fucking doing what he knows he has to do in order to fucking appease or you know, get one over on, or make sure that this fucking ancient orange buffoon sitting next to him doesn't somehow get to fucking, you know, a hair up his fucking ass and go off all of a sudden on some fucking tangent. Right. So this is him playing the pot. You know, thank you. I know last time you said I didn't thank you enough, so I'll say thank you fucking 45 fucking times. How about that? You said I didn't wear a suit. Yeah, this is the best I got. What else did you fucking bring up last time? Let's make sure we get that off the table, so you have absolutely no reason to blow up in my face and let the killing continue in my country. So this is Volodymyr Zelensky doing absolutely what is necessary of him in a situation dealing with Donald Trump in order to get what he needs, you know, resulting from these meetings.
She sent a letter to Putin about our children, adopted children, and my wife.
And I love the fact that he continued to bring up Melania. I love it. I'm not sure if he was doing it, if it was supposed to be a dig or if it was meant to be a dig. But the fact that he kept bringing up Melania was fucking great. It was beautiful in my eyes. And I don't think it was, you know, I don't think Donald Trump was too keen on it because, yeah, did you see when he handed him the letter and he was like, no, that's not for you. It's for your wife. Yeah.
She gave the letter. It's not to your wife. No, I want yeah. So we're saying this sensitive topic. Yeah, please. And thanks to our partners and that you supported this.
Yeah, we saw this pod. What I want to hear is Don's fucking take. Let's go.
Now support a negotiated peace deal. That's up from just over 20% at the start of the invasion. Remember, my United States is not in a war. Our United States is not in a war. We did not start the war.
Hold on. Did you hear what he just said, ladies and gentlemen? Did you hear what Don Jr. just said? Because what I've been hearing from Donald Trump Sr., you know, from the fucking the fat orange blob himself, is that this is Joe Biden's war, that Joe Biden started this war. Isn't that what we've been hearing? Even though fucking we all know that, you know, Obama was president when this started, 2014 was the start of this invasion. The full-scale invasion only happened February 2022. But, you know, put the actual facts of the matter aside. But Donald Trump loves saying that this is Joe Biden's war, right? Well, let's hear it from fucking Donald Trump's mouth, Donald Trump Jr.'s mouth himself, that it is not the United States' fault. We did not start this war. Listen.
Ukrainians now support a negotiated peace deal. That's up from just over 20% at the start of the invasion. Remember, my United States is not in a war. Our United States is not in a war. We did not start the war. But my father is taking the...
We did not start the war. Correct. Absolutely correct. Joe Biden didn't start the war. Barack Obama didn't start the war. It is solely the responsibility and the actions of one man and one country, Vladimir Putin and Russia, which is the people that we should be putting the most amount of pressure on in order to stop the conflict that they themselves perpetrated, that they themselves started, that they themselves are responsible for. So again, this is just, you can't hear it. Audio is very low. Brian is loud. Was it like that the whole time, or did that just start? Clips are too soft. Okay. Can I bump that up? Is that even a thing I can do? Let me see there, people. I apologize. Usually it's Twitter that has the problem with the clips being low. Oh, hold on one sec. Can barely hear the clips. All right, just started recently. All right, so let's maybe it's something on the side of Rumble, or maybe it's on the side of Don Jr.'s podcast. Let's see if we skip ahead maybe a little bit and see if you're still having the issues.
Because since launching a full-scale operation,
is that better or worse or the same?
We've seen homeless encampments cleared out. We've seen arrests. We've seen violent crime drop, and it's clearly working. For example, in just the first few days, there have been more than 380 total arrests since the start of the operation. 59 firearms.
Same. All right, so let's get off of this. I don't want to guys make you suffer through anything that you can't hear, because that would be fucking really foolish of me. So why don't we get off of Don Jr.? We did this one. All right, so why don't we take a look at this, because it seems like in this one JD Vance talks about Ukraine a lot in this interview. So let's see if we can dive into this ridiculous sit down with these two ridiculous fascist fucking authoritarian pieces of shit. One being Laura Ingraham, the other being our vice president, JD fucking Vance. Let's see if I can get this right now. Stop. Pause. Put this on the screen for you guys. Switch count. Boom. Why does it keep doing that? History. It's not letting me go to... All right, I'll just show it like this. I think it's loud enough like this. Put this on the stage. All right, here we go. All right, so this is the recent sit-down of our Vice President, JD Vance, with fascist, Nazi, Fox propagandist Laura Ingraham, in which I believe he, was reported from what I've seen, discusses a lot about Ukraine and Volodymyr Zelensky, Vladimir Putin. I'm just going to kind of skip ahead to where he starts discussing the war in Ukraine, because I just don't give a shit what else he has to say, to tell you the truth. One-on-one. All right, here we go. Here we go. This is where he starts. Let's go. All right. Thank you, guys. Hit that like button. Again, this is JD Vance and his latest sit-down with fascist fuckbag Laura Ingraham. Here we go.
Zelensky and the president. That was quite something to
was.
behold. How did you all break the ice this time? Take us into the room.
Let me know that the audio is all right on this one for you guys. Again, I don't want to make you suffer through anything you can't hear. Let me know.
Because we're all dying to know that.
Well, I think when President Zelensky walked into the Oval Office, I was chatting with him, with the president, with some of the senior Ukrainian delegation. I said, Mr. President, so long as you behave, I won't say anything. And he just chuckled a little bit. It was a good little...
I mean, how fucking rude and condescending is that right off the bat? And JD Vance is trying to say that this was his icebreaker moment with fucking Volodymyr Zelensky. Listen to this. Listen to this bullshit.
Mr. President, so long as you behave, I won't say anything. And he just...
That's what he said to Volodymyr Zelensky. The first thing he said in the Oval Office, as long as you behave yourself, I won't say anything. And you can be damn sure that Volodymyr Zelensky wanted to smack him right in his fucking purty little mouth as soon as he said it, but refrained and probably just smiled and shook his hand like the asshole that JD Vance is.
Chuckled a little bit. It was a good little icebreaker. I mean, what the president's trying to do, meaning our president is trying to do, is bring a 3.5-year very brutal conflict to a stop. It's killed way too many Ukrainians, way too many Russians. It's completely transformed the economy of Europe and of big parts of Asia.
Why again are we not putting more pressure, all of the pressure of the United States and all of the leverage that the United States and the European allies have upon the head of Vladimir Putin and Russia, since you rightly say they are the fucking people responsible for this war? They are the responsible party for the deaths and destruction caused in this war. Like the rest of the rhetoric does not fucking make sense from what these people knowingly have to admit because of reality, which is that Russia started this fucking war and that they themselves have the power and the ability to end it.
We just got to get back to peace. And I really do think you heard Vladimir Putin say this, that if Donald Trump had been president in 2022, this war would have never started.
Do you have any idea how fucking insane that is? Do we... Fucking insane. Fucking the guy that started the fucking war, telling the guy that lost and tried to steal the fucking election that if he stole the election right, and that he knows that he stole the election, but if he did actually become president, that the fucking war that I started wouldn't have fucking started. If it's even fucking something that you should take into fucking your brain for fucking 1 second, even think about it, it's probably because Donald Trump would have given him everything he fucking wanted in the first place, so there would have been no need for a war. But otherwise, that is just the fucking most ridiculous fucking thing I've ever heard. The guy that started the fucking war saying that if Donald Trump won the fucking election, that Russia, they themselves hacked into and tried to fucking affect the changeover, that they themselves wouldn't have started the war that they themselves started. I can't even fucking wrap my head around it. It's fucking insane on so many different levels. Russia interfered in the election that they're talking about. Donald Trump tried stealing the election that they're talking about. He tried overthrowing the democracy and the government of the United States in that election that we're talking about. The war that we're talking about was started by the guy that we're now talking about, said that that war would have never happened. What the fuck are we talking about? It's fucking too much sometimes. It's too fucking much that this shit isn't called out more, and how ridiculous that one fucking statement is. Like lauding Vladimir Putin for free and fair elections, talking about Putin in relation with mail-in fucking vote. Like, fuck you. You think we're fucking stupid? It's the one thing that everybody knows about Russia, regardless of your fucking educational fucking position, is that Russia is not known for free and fair elections. Russia cannot be trusted with elections, I think, is the one fucking thing everybody knows about Russia. And here we are trying to use that genocidal dictator, an internationally wanted fucking war criminal, his statements, after knowing that they hacked into our elections and tried to change the election outcome. And they themselves started the war, and like touting what they're saying is just fucking, it blows my fucking mind.
And now the president is really spending a lot of time, a lot of effort to stop Joe Biden's war, because I think it is Joe Biden.
Wait a minute. But we just heard, hold on. Didn't we hear Don Jr. just say that this isn't the responsibility, or we didn't cause this. The United States isn't at war right now. We didn't fucking make this happen. That's funny, because it seems to be going in direct contravention with what the rest of the fucking administration is saying here.
War. Without him being weak and provocative, I don't think that Russia would have invaded Ukraine. And now we have a situation where the president is trying to be strong and bold and trying to bring this thing to a close.
And sorry, by weak and provocative, he means, the ones that actually let Ukraine and Europe know that Russia was absolutely serious about this full-scale invasion and that they should be getting ready to defend their fucking country at all costs, because they are coming across the border. This wasn't just a bluff. This wasn't just a show of force on the fucking Russian-Ukraine border. They were coming in.
Into the room when the president said, I'm going to call Putin now. And you got the Western leaders, they've all come to Washington. Now, what was their facial expression at that point? Did they anticipate that this was going to happen? Because
I'm going to let his answer play. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to run down and grab a drink. I'm just going to let his answer play here. I'm sure it's nonsensical Russian propagandistic bullshit, so I'm probably not going to miss much, but just give me a second. I'll put this on the screen and I'll be right back.
it was, 8 hours ahead Moscow time?
Yeah, it was like 1 a.m. Moscow time, and they had no anticipation. So we're actually in the east wing of the White House, and the president says, we've had a pretty good meeting. I'm going to go call Vladimir Putin and see what he says about it. And everybody's like, oh, you're going to call him next week? And he's like, no, what time is it in Moscow? Let's call him right now. And I think one of the things I've realized about President Trump's leadership is he cuts through the BS of some of these diplomatic protocols and just says, I'm going to get things done. If I want to talk to somebody, I'm going to talk to somebody. You had a lot of the Europeans who were saying, no, there needs to be proper, vetting, and the teams have to prepare the phone call and blah, 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 blah. And the president was like, no. I want to talk to the guy. I'm going to talk to the guy. And I think that kind of no holds barred, no BS diplomacy is part of the reason why we've made the progress we have. And we've made a lot of progress, Laura. Look, who knows what's going to happen? The president tells me this all the time. You can never say with certainty what the outcome in this situation is going to be. But we now have.
But we know what we should be calling for, right? Like, I'll give you don't know where this is going to go. You don't know how it's going to end. You can't predict what other people are going to do. But you can be damn sure that we know what we should be calling for, right? The outright removal of every single Russian soldier now in the territory of the sovereign country of Ukraine needs to get the fuck out of Ukraine and head straight back to the nearest fucking Russian border crossing point, right? Drop your guns, leave your tanks, leave your fucking trucks, your motorcycles, your fucking ATVs, your drones, every piece of equipment that you have that won't get you quickly back to the Russian border. You drop that son of a bitch right now and you fucking hightail it as fast as you can. Not only that, but We also demand the return of every single Ukrainian children, every single Ukrainian child that has been stolen and kidnapped and sold on the black market and had their names and identities changed. We need them returned before we go any further in these negotiations. So every fucking Russian soldier out of Ukraine, every single Ukrainian child back to Ukraine should be the fucking starting point. 91 borders should be our fucking starting point. And then, you know, if you want to fucking talk from there, then you have to fucking show us something. Show us that you're willing to give in this situation. Otherwise, no. We're going to send in military force from the United States, the European Union, NATO, everybody that wants to put fucking boots on the ground in Ukraine. I will allow that country to do so. I will encourage that country to do so. You will have so many fucking NATO boots on your doorstep, you won't be able to hear the fucking television in the living room. Russia, how about that? How about that? I'll have fucking more European countries with boots on the ground in Ukraine than you can fucking shake a stick at. That's what we should be saying. That's what we should be saying. Or we'll cut off every single bit of fucking trade that you still have with the outside world. We'll sanction every single oligarch until they're fucking dead and fucking destitute on the side of the road in some fucking godforsaken, shitty Russian fucking village. And goddamn it, we will attack and bomb every single military installation that Russia has on the fucking entirety of its fucking territory. If you guys don't do what we say you need to do, because you guys perpetrated this war. Remember the ramifications? Remember what the Allies did to Germany after World War I? Remember the Treaty of Versailles and the fucking the exorbitant amount Germany was made to pay, and you know the reparations that they had to pay. Like, that's what the fuck we should be calling for. That's what we should be calling for and demanding. Something like that. Where Russia is to foot the bill for every single nut, bolt, fucking pound of concrete, bit of cement and paint that is required to rebuild every single Ukrainian town, village, and city, every home, every fucking plumbing pipe, every fucking wire, every road sign, every school, hospital, and fucking mortuary. Should be rebuilt with the money and at the expense of fucking Russia. And they should be going on for years paying Ukraine for the suffering that they imposed upon them and the death toll that it caused and the destruction that it caused. That's what we should be demanding and calling for. Nothing fucking less. Sorry.
The Russians talking to the Ukrainians. They're talking details about what would be necessary on each side to stop the fighting and stop the killing. We've made more progress in 3 months than the country had made in 3 years in stopping this conflict. And I think it's because sometimes you just need a president who will pick up the phone and call somebody.
When Vladimir Putin meets with Volodymyr Zelensky, can we assume that all the big details will have been discussed and generally agreed upon, namely the security agreement and land swap?
It's a good question. I think that if you go through the
It is a good question. Do you have an answer?
Bureaucratic process, then the answer is yes. But I think the president's preference and my preference would be, let's have them meet regardless. You don't have to figure out every issue. And
what are we just having fucking meetings for meeting's sake for? The whole point is to stop the fucking war. Here's JD Vance, the Vice President of the United States, saying, nah, we don't really need to discuss anything before the meeting. Let's just keep having meetings. Let's just, we'll throw they roll out the red carpet. They give us some good food. We get to shake hands and get our pictures taken. It's pretty fun. We get to see different places in the world. We'll just keep doing this the whole time. We don't have to discuss anything. We don't have to agree upon anything. We don't have to actually sit down and hash out a resolution to this war. We'll just keep having fucking meetings. Who needs a ceasefire? Like Donald Trump said, we don't need a ceasefire. Fuck it. Let them keep fighting. Let everybody keep dying. Donald Trump went from, I just want to stop all the killing. I don't want to see any more people dead. I'll let them keep fighting. We'll have a meeting sometime in the next couple weeks, months. We'll figure it out then, I guess. Can you believe this shit? You fucking believe this shit? What being Donald Trump would want? We just say have these meetings regardless. We get good press and publicity out of it anyway. Don't matter. Fuck it. I know people are dying, but fuck it, right?
sometimes leaders sitting down face to face can break the logjam that their teams don't necessarily have the ability to do. There really are two big questions lingering out there.
And I just want to make it very fucking clear. The only thing that has changed in these circumstances, the only thing that has changed in these fucking talks and negotiations that are now happening is the friendly nature in which Donald Trump is treating in kid gloving and fucking patting on the ass of Vladimir Putin in Russia. Otherwise, they wouldn't be engaged in any talks, right? If there was a real leader who was defiant and fucking aggressive towards what Vladimir Putin in Russia has done, they wouldn't be engaged in any peace talks. They wouldn't be flying over here shaking hands. None of that shit would be going on. So we'd be still in the same position of Russia launching deadly drone strikes night after night, like we just saw last night with almost 600 drones, 40 missiles. As Donald Trump continues to give Russia and Vladimir Putin time and more time and more time to continue to kill. But this is the shit that fucking bugs me. This is the shit that fucking bugs me is the, let's just do it for doing its sake, right? And then being like, well, we've had more talks in the last couple of weeks. Yeah, because you're more willing to appease a dictator. So that dictator is now more willing to come to the table to see what that appeasement is going to be. This has nothing to do with strong leadership or fucking a tough stance on Russia or anything like that.
And in some ways it's very simple, but in some ways it's very complicated. Number one is Ukraine wants to know that it's not going to get invaded again by Russia. It wants to know that it's got territorial integrity long into.
I'm sorry, Brian, but we might have to ditch you as a reliable ally. What's that mean? I don't get it.
The future. The Russians want certain pieces of territory, most of which they've occupied, but some of which they haven't. So that is really where the meat of the negotiation is. The Ukrainians want security guarantees. The Russians want a certain amount of territory. Again, we finally got the details. We're working on them, but we haven't figured everything out. And I don't think that.
And what's your stance on that? What's your stance on this fucking attacking, warring nation, thinking that they can acquire parts of their neighboring nation through territorial expansion, through war, and then ask for even more territory? What is your position as the vice president of the United States on that? Is that something that we are willing to appease? Is that something that we're willing to negotiate on? Is that something that we're willing to allow Vladimir Putin the benefit of having after his murderous fucking war crimes? Because it seems like a dangerous precedent to set. And it seems like that has already been learned through lessons of fucking the past, through lessons of history. And we don't need to learn them again. We don't need to go through that again.
We should force, we shouldn't say that they can't sit down until you figured out every little detail. Sometimes them sitting down is what facilitates figuring out those details.
You have been so strong on the idea of Europe paying for Europe's defense.
Sure.
And I think a lot of Americans don't understand that the EU GDP last year was about $19.18 trillion, if I'm right, give or take. And the UK's is about 2.9 trillion. Sure. Ours is 29.8 trillion, right?
You know the numbers better than I do. You should be Treasury Secretary.
Yeah. Sorry, Scott, I got your job. No, but so this is a lot of money. Europe has the money to defend itself. So the security agreement, my question to you is, why should America carry the lion's share of the burden from now until Lord knows when for Europe when Europe has the money to defend itself?
Well, I don't think we should carry the burden.
The arsenal of democracy, I'll just say.
Here, I think that we should be helpful if it's necessary to stop the war and to stop the killing. But I think that we should expect, and the president certainly expects Europe to play the leading role here. And what he said very clearly is, look, the United States is open to having the conversation, but we're not going to make commitments until we figure out what's going to be necessary to stop the war in the first place. And I think that it's, the president is
just this fucking lawyer mumbo jumbo political bullshit fucking talking points. What are you saying? Are you willing to appease? Are you willing to give up the territory illegally taken to a dictator, or are we going to fight for what's right? Are we going to fight for an ally that we signed agreements and documents when they gave up their nuclear weapons to uphold and defend when this fucking exact situation were ever to take place? What do we like?
very good. He never takes anything off the table. He never puts anything fully on the table because he doesn't want to give away his leverage. And this is the private conversation that we're all going to have about what's necessary to stop the war. But no matter what happens, no matter what form this takes, the Europeans are going to have to take the lion's share of the burden. It's their continent, it's their security, and the president's been very clear they're going to have to step up here.
What's it like meeting Putin? What was he like, just one-on-one?
So I've actually never met Putin. The president did that meeting. I've talked to him on the phone a number of times. You know, it's interesting. He's more soft-spoken than you would necessarily expect. You know, the American media has a particular image of him. He's soft-spoken in a certain way. He's very deliberate. He's very careful. And I think fundamentally he's a person.
He's a fucking war criminal. He is a genocidal dictator. And just in case you're wondering, oh, did I fucking put it there? Let me see. I think Kate from Heart posted this. Ready? So they loved it so much over in Russia. They loved this so much at RT that they decided to repost JD Vance's comments. JD Vance describes the real Vladimir Putin, says RT. He's soft-spoken in a certain way. He's very deliberate. He's very careful. Fundamentally, he's a person who looks out for the interests of Russia. Reposted by Russian propaganda television. RT. Our vice president being quoted directly by Russian state media, changing nothing about what he said, and applauding his statements for his compliments to Vladimir Putin. Just in case you're wondering how chummy these relationships are between these fucking people.
A person who looks out for the interests as he sees it of Russia. And I think one of the reasons he respects the president of the United States is because he knows the president looks out for the interests of the American people. And while they often disagree about issues, and obviously the president has been very critical of Vladimir Putin, the president's also willing to work with anybody if he thinks it's going to accomplish an important goal for America. And we all agree an important
for himself, you mean? He's willing to work with anybody if it's going to accomplish something, a goal for himself. Is what you meant to say there, JD, because he's not willing to work with fucking anybody if it helps other people, just himself. It has to benefit himself. And again, this fucking Nobel Peace Prize run that he's on is the only reason that he even fucking is remotely involved in talking to Vladimir Putin about ending this war.
Goal is to stop the killing.
Let's move to the economy because that is still the number one issue in the United States for most folks.
All right, I just wanted to hear what he had to say on, Volodymyr Zelensky in Ukraine. I won't subject you to any more of that nonsense. I feel like seeing her fucking frozen face Nazi ass anymore on the screen. So we did the Brian Glenn. We did that one. So let's take a look at some of these reactions, and then we'll see if we can get into the James O'Brien. We got about a half hour left. Did that one. So we got Jesse Watters and a couple of the LBC clips to get through in the next half hour. Let's see if we can do it. So hit that like button. I'm Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics. I appreciate you for watching. I appreciate you for tuning in, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, wherever it may be. Please hit that like button. Share the stream out. I would very much appreciate it. All right, let's take a look at this one. Let's see if I can open this one for you.
So let me ask you before you
stop. Open. I'll just have to switch my account real quick. Well, every time it brings me to YouTube, it brings up my other. Oh, for crying out loud! Does this to me all the time. All right. I'm gonna have to go back to where I watched it. Let's see here. Oh, screw it. I'll play it like this. Share this on stream. How's this? There we go. Let's roll. All right, hit that like button, guys. I appreciate it. This is just some of the reactions from across the pond to the Trump-Putin summit, and I just kind of want to give you a little bit of what everybody else in the world is thinking about this. I know we've heard about what the pundits in the United States think. You've heard what I think. We've talked to Jake Bro, and we've talked to Major Richard Ojeda. But let's hear what people around the world think, people across the pond were thinking when they saw this ridiculous fucking summit as well. So let's check into this.
You give me your reaction. What did you have any expectation, any hope for this Alaskan summit? And if so, what was it? None.
No expectation at all. I mean, this was always going to be about Putin, not about Trump.
Luckily, with his fucking thick Scottish brogue. There are subtitles on the screen if you need them.
Going to go home, and his TV coverage is going to be show him in a win-win situation. And he's going to spin that whatever way he wants, which will be a positive note as far as he'll say, well, we're winning the war, and America is agreeing with us that we're winning the war, because Trump ain't going to do anything as far as to help the Ukrainians, and that's it.
Trump is not going to do anything to help the Ukrainians.
Bad part of this, he's still not sort of going to back them up. Trump talks what he's going to do, but never backs it up with action.
You see, this is the bit that I try and sort of reconcile all the different things that I hear about Trump, the narcissist. So that's the bit that I've got sort of first and foremost in my mind. The world revolves around him. He's spent much of the last week bigging up this summit, right? So it was going to be, the last message he posted on social media was high stakes. Earlier in the day, I only give myself a 25% chance of failure. Ceasefire. Putin mucks me around. It's going to be, extreme sanctions. All of this talk. And then a few hours later, nothing. Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a difficult negotiator.
So people around the world noticed.
I'll be absolutely honest, James. I struggle to reconcile this. I can't. He seemed like a man who really did want to get a ceasefire on Thursday and Friday morning, and yet this morning, nothing.
And that's the difference between the two of them. Well, similarities in a way. Putin's win out of this. Trump will come back and say that, it's going to look to American media that, wait a minute here, what was all that about? Where Putin will go back and say, this has been great for us. You know what I mean? And
that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what we saw happen. As I reported, the confusion on the faces of the reporters at the summit when Putin wasn't required or forced to answer any questions, when Trump didn't take any questions, just the whole summit itself, you could see the confusions in the faces of both the Russian and the U.S. media fucking journalists around there. So you can tell that's exactly what happened. They were confused, and then Putin went back and said it was a great success, right? Fucking, they got everything accomplished that they needed to. They got the press that they wanted. It's that's exactly what the fuck happened.
Trump will just fade away as usual and find something else.
Do you think Trump will ever negotiate a ceasefire in Ukraine? Do you think that will ever happen?
No, I don't think so.
I must admit.
So people don't think that this is ever coming, and not least of which because Donald Trump has ceased calling for a ceasefire. Right, he is no longer saying that a ceasefire is something that we should require of Russia, of Vladimir Putin, in order to engage in these peace talks.
I've great reservations about that because, Trump, as we know, Trump's a businessman. He's not a politician, and he's only in it for what he can make for the Trump family.
He's only in it for what he can make. He's only in it for what he can make for the Trump family. It's amazing that people all over the globe can see it very fucking plain and clear and in plain sight. But the media here, the MAGA chumps here, just for some reason, just cannot fucking get it through their skulls.
I also think that the narcissist in him doesn't like the word failure. I think he hates the word failure. And most of the US commentators, and I do take the point that someone messaged earlier that basically in the US, Epstein is a much bigger story than Alaska. But failure, I don't think that's something that Trump would feel comfortable with. And yet that's how I see the summit. A number of people have messaged to say it wasn't a failure, that, it's all part of a buttering up process. But we were told he was going to end the war in Ukraine on day one. And that was, we're 7 months down the line from there.
He's just laughing at it. And then he goes on to another caller here, hopefully a little bit easier to understand.
Well, if Friedrich Merz got one thing right, then it's all that many things he's got right. It's that Europe must become independent from the United States, militarily, politically.
And that's, again, a growing feeling, the growing sentiment inside of Europe, which is why we've seen the European Union, NATO agreed to, spend more in defense spending and agree more to spend more for security, because they know they have to do more to separate themselves from the United States, at least as long as Donald Trump is in the picture, at least as long as Donald Trump has any say whatsoever in what the United States government does and who they back and who we support. They would be best off to make sure that they are as self-contained, as self-sufficient as they could possibly be without needing the United States to do A, B, or C. Otherwise it leads to the destruction of this country or that country inside of Europe,
Economically, meaning we need a military European defense union. It doesn't have to
No, I got him. I believe me. I fucking understood him. I really did. I swear. I got every word.
To overlap with the EU, it probably will have to be a distinct organization. NATO, well, it ain't dead yet, but it sure as hell smells funny. And we need to tool up and we need to support Ukraine to the hilt because basically they are the front line. And if Ukraine falls, the front line will just be somewhere else and closer to us. So it makes sense.
Is the appetite, Ulf? Is the appetite in Europe there for some kind of European military, a European army?
No, not a European army. That would require a European nation state, and we will not live to see that. But you can have a...
But, I mean, we have seen the reports that are at least 10 fucking different countries that are willing to put boots on the ground as far as security guarantees for Ukraine, right? And that will go a long, long way in deterring Vladimir Putin in the future. If you got, again, fucking hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands of soldiers running around from 10 different NATO member countries, you know what I mean? That puts a huge added layer of protection onto Ukraine. And it's just, it's a shame to see. And this is what I was talking about with, I believe it was the Major, where, I'm kind of worried about fatigue, people getting tired of hearing about the war, people getting tired of not seeing, action and outcome and being more willing to throw Ukraine under the bus in order to see some sort of peace, in order to just see this kind of disappear from the headlines and not be talked about anymore. I'm worried about people's conviction in staying the course and fighting and supporting Ukraine till the end. As far as they're willing to take it and as much support as we're willing to give in their defense against the Russian horde and their defense of Europe in the face of this onslaught that they face,
Increased European cooperation.
Yes.
On all levels. That is not such a quantum leap.
Let me see. There was one more here called that I think, let me see. I think, was it this one? Or was it this one? Let's see. I think it's this one.
Good morning, Matthew. What a phenomenal meeting. A man, on one hand, you have someone who's found crimes against humanity by the ICC, and on the other hand, you have a gentleman who's got 34 felony charges against him, and one of which includes rape. Extraordinary. And this was supposed to be a meeting of great minds. We must be in some sort of an alternative world. This summit was never really about Ukraine. Talking about Ukraine was only a subplot in this.
Right. I never heard the word ceasefire mentioned. I never heard any of the Telegraph's reporting of, giving up rare earth minerals from the occupied territories. I never heard anything about, trying to appease Vladimir Putin by giving up some sort of natural resource deal for Alaska. I never heard anything about lifting sanctions. I never heard anything trying to entice Vladimir Putin to stop this war. I didn't hear any of it. Nothing.
In the summit. This summit was really about the United States using this as an opportunity to gain some ground in Eastern Europe.
To do business?
Gaining access to mineral resources.
So to do business, to make money.
Absolutely. Somewhere like North Pole, close to North Pole. Russia at the moment monopolizes North Pole, and United States.
It's just funny to see. Not funny, but it's fucking remarkable to see that people all over the world seem to get this and see this very clearly, for the appeasement that it is, for the waste of time that fucking summit was, for the lack of outcome that it produced. But somehow, some way, we see ourselves in the position where I don't even know what to like. This is the path that has been given to us, right? Like it's crazy to think that this is the road that we now have to fucking go down because Donald Trump is so willing to give up anything he fucking possibly can to get this Nobel fucking Peace Prize. It's wild. All right, last thing before we get you guys out of here and I start thanking you for your kind contributions and super chats to the channel, which I really much appreciate. Thank you so much. I won't subject you to Jesse Watters. Let's see if we can do. No, because that was before. Should we do a couple minutes of Jesse Watters? All right, let's take a look at this dipshit. Let's take a look at this.
Democrats are living in a broken home. Daddy got cooed and Mamala left for vacation and never.
Jesus Christ. Daddy and Mamala. These fucking people in their parent issues just cannot help themselves but embarrass and shame and it just fucking, I can't. Oh, he's so hard to watch. He really is so hard to watch. He's such an arrogant, pompous, fucking weak human being. All right, here we go.
Came home. So the house.
Oh, thank you, Nordez. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Thank you to everybody else that's been gifting too. I promise I'll make sure to highlight and spotlight every single one of you fabulous motherfuckers at the end of the show. I promise. You know that. You know that. There's also, like I said, Venmo up in the corner. Bust a buck. Try your luck. Support some independent media. I bet you'll feel better about yourself if you do so. So let's go. I appreciate it. Also, hit that like button.
Mess and the roof's starting to cave in.
My brother's a Democrat.
Holy shit. Hold on. You're going to talk about Democrats and then the next fucking scene, you're going to pull up Chris Cuomo? Like he's the leading he's the leading author. Like, he's the leading representative for Democrats here. Whoa. All right. Here we go. What's he got to say? What's this ass kisser got to say?
Why? But he is. My father was a Democrat. I know exactly why he was, but his party doesn't exist anymore. Now it's the left arguing for a cultural elite. No Democrat would have argued for open borders.
And no Democrat is arguing for open borders. We are arguing for a more streamlined asylum process for the ICE and Border Patrol agents not to fucking round up and beat anybody they choose, to not have to deploy our military along the length of our southern border in order to ensure that nobody comes across. That's not, you know what I mean? I don't think that's what anybody's arguing for. So again, a misrepresentation of anything being argued for on the left or by anybody on the left by Chris Cuomo, who again is just an unintelligent fucking hack.
No, none of this. My father would have done none of this.
Cuomo's looking for a new home. And
good. Keep him. Take him. Fucking, here's his shit. Fucking, I'll throw the shit out in the street. You come by and pick it up later. Fucking keep him. Take his brother with him, his father, take the rest of everybody. Take anybody related to the fucking Cuomo. Take them all. You can have them.
There just happens to be a big, beautiful house right across the street.
Sheldon says, Brian, I believe it's important to invite Lev Parnas as a guest. Yeah, if anybody knows a way where I could reach out, let me know. I don't really want to use, I feel bad using other people that have him on the show to try to gain access that way. You know what I mean? I'd really like it to be natural and, either have him see my show and want to be on or have him see my message and want to be on, as opposed to trying to, go through maybe Phil or Hal who have him on. I feel kind of scummy about doing it that way, but I'm more than willing to talk to anybody. I'll have him on the show and speak with him. Absolutely. You guys know that. I have no problems having different people on the show. It's not about who you talk to. It's about how you talk to them. Right. And I think we'd have a shitload to talk about if Lev were to come on the show. So yeah, I'll see if I can reach out and see if we can get him on the show for sure. But I just don't want to make it seem like I'm trying to reach behind anybody's back and poach their guests. That's all. It's a fine line we got to walk, It
has a gold patio, marble trim, a big, beautiful flagpole, and great surround sound. DJ Donnie T was just testing it. It's the hottest house on the block.
DJ Donnie T. Now tell me you don't have daddy issues. Come on, Jess. Be honest. Be honest. When you sit at home and you're crying in your bathroom, pulling on your little fucking woodpecker there, thinking about your little daddy and mommy issues, crying about Joe Biden, listening to fucking Donald Trump's mixtape. Tell me you don't really, is there nothing inside you that says maybe you should talk to a fucking psychiatrist about the issues that you're going through?
And everyone's looking to make the move. The New York Times says in just 4 years, over 4.5 million Democrats packed their bags and moved to a home with a daddy.
New reporting in the Times.
What did it say? Hold on. One more time. Let me see if I can go to that. 4.5 million Democrats. What? Get out of here. I don't want that. It says the 4-year swing toward the Republican adds up to 4.5 million voters, a deep political hole that could take years for Democrats to climb out of. 4.5 million voters. 4-year swing towards Republicans adds up. Democrats could take climbs. So from when to when are they talking about here? When to when? What 4-year period?
With a daddy. New reporting in the Times this morning, just broke a short time ago, of the 30 states that track voter registration, Democrats lost ground to Republicans in every single one.
Yeah, but we knew that coming out of this election. We knew and we heard the frustrations expressed by voters that the Democrats could raise $1 billion, could be going against a pedophile, could be going against a man that tried to overturn and overthrow a free and fair election, a man that was known for talking about grabbing women without, without their fucking consent. A man known for talking about his daughter in sexual ways, a man known for having raped and abused E. Jean Carroll, a man that went on to defame the woman that he raped and abused several times after that. I think there was a lot of frustration in a lot of people. There was a lot of people that turned away from politics altogether after the election because of how frustrated and scared and angry they were at the way that the election turned out. So I don't think it's like a shock to see that there was like anger and frustration in people that changed their voter status or voter registration after the election. I don't think that what is meaningful is what they're angry about now, what they're willing to vote on now, and how we can sway those voters going into midterms to vote for the correct candidates and vote for the correct side, regardless of what their voter registration says.
The New York Times says, this isn't just a dip. It's a potential death spiral for the Democratic Party.
I got to say, you know what? It could have been, Jesse. And that's the problem. It probably could have been if you had anybody with a fucking brain cell and fucking anything else to rub together to create a spark. But unfortunately, the guy that you voted for is so stupid, old, incompetent, corrupt, disgusting, such a degenerate, that he has pissed off the American public so much that they have now turned on him, that he has lied so much about what he was going to implement and the policies that he was going to put in place and the change that he was going to enact on the families, the lives of American families, lowering gas prices, lowering food costs, lowering the cost of fucking health care, whatever else he fucking promised there. He's done absolutely none of it. And as a matter of fact, Russia has only increased their attacks on Ukraine. Inflation has only gotten worse. Job growth has slowed. The economy has multiple signs of fucking red flags going up. Tariffs are going to be a killer for the American family, for the American worker. We have immigrants being rounded up that we need on a daily basis to make this country run. So that's putting fucking sand in the gears in that regard. Everything's going to shit. We have ICE running rampant on the streets of our capital, in cities all over the country, locking up fucking military members, locking up families, separating families, separating fucking pregnant women, armored personnel carriers driving up and down the streets of our capital like it's fucking Moscow, like we're some like militarized police state now. And that's what's brought the fucking Democrats back. That's what's brought people back into the fucking political fold to say, okay, I was wrong. I voted for this asshole because I was mad at the fucking other party for this, that, or the other thing. But guess what? I fucked up. I was wrong, and I thought he was going to help us for some fucking stupid reason, but he's done the complete and total opposite of that. So thank you, Jesse, for having such a fucking moronic piece of shit that you called daddy in charge that led us and gave us the fucking opportunity to get back on our feet after this last election. And so that we have things like the Epstein files, like fucking his love for Vladimir Putin, like fucking these, like ICE, like inflation, like tariffs, like jobs to beat Donald Trump senseless with over the fucking dome piece. Repeatedly, day in and day fucking out.
For the ones who haven't flocked, they're acting like runaway kids, screaming, stomping, and they won't come back to their collapsing house.
Texas Democrats tried shacking up with Uncle JB back in Chicago. The house was nice, but JB back ribs wasn't generous with the leftovers. Grandma Nancy broke her hip, so they're not staying there. So they came back home to Texas.
He is such an immature, childish little fuck. Like these little quirks and quips. He thinks he's fucking funny. And JB, what'd he say? JB back ribs and fucking the little nicknames that oh my God, it's horrendous. Horrendous television. It's just fucking horrendous propaganda by one of the dumbest motherfuckers on television today.
Texas. And to make sure they wouldn't flee again, the governor gave them a 24/7 escort service. One Texas rep said she wasn't going home.
Hey, you better fucking watch what you say about Nicole Collier, all right? You better watch your fucking tongue, Jess. I'll tell you this right now. Watch your fucking tongue.
She locked herself on the House floor and threw a slumber party. She spent the night there and told MSNBC she was ready to get down and dirty.
Say, take that high road. Well, you know, that high road has crumbled. We're on a dirt road, and we're going to meet them on that dirt road and get down and dirty just like they are. And so my fellow Democrats are ready to continue the fight with the grit that is necessary to challenge the oppressor.
At first, she was all by herself, but then she poked her head out and made it a girls' night.
Let her out. Let her out.
Now, it's funny that Jesse says she kind of locked herself in there, and people would be standing outside saying, let her out. Now, if she locked herself in there, it really wouldn't make much sense for people just saying, let her out. So it's seeming like she was being held against her will, with something being held over her head if she were to leave the premises, right? Seems like you better read a little bit more into the story there, Jess.
Mama has been away, but she called to tell her a bedtime story.
You just remember when you're in those rooms and it feels like you're the only one there, we are all in that room with you. And so any moment where you feel alone, you do not feel alone. You've got to know we are all there with you, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Strong.
Right, my dear.
Thank you.
Stay strong.
Yes.
Okay, I'll see you later.
All right, take care.
You can reach out anytime. Take care.
You know, it'd be nice to hear, and, you know, nice to hear fucking Kamala giving nice words of encouragement there. But, you know, if I can be as blunt as I usually am to say that I would fucking very much like to hear Kamala Harris step up more in the press, on media, in fucking newspapers to talk about what we are seeing now happening in the United States. I think it could go a long fucking way if we also have Kamala Harris up front and center talking about the fucking fascist tendencies, the fascist policies, the degradation and destruction that democracy is facing in the United States now, because we cannot treat this as a normal political time. This is not a normal political time to sit back and wait for some fucking phantom election season and to not act like this is a pressing issue every single second of every single day is a fucking lost opportunity. And I think we need to see a lot more of these fucking high-profile people speaking the fuck up and using their power and privilege and prestige or whatever the fuck you want to call it to defend our country and to raise awareness to the fucking things that are going on. So thank you for giving Nicole the words of encouragement. But how about you step the fuck up and speak the fuck up every single day about what we're seeing in this country, the things that you tried to prevent in your campaign that we're now actively seeing. How about you call those shits out for me? That would be great.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
That was Vice President Kamala Harris. Oh, my goodness.
All right. And unfortunately, guys, we have run out of time today. I don't even subject it to any more Jesse Watters or any more Fox propaganda. There was also this that I wanted to show you as well. And obviously, we're not going to get time to dive into it. But I would very much implore you to check out reaction from people around the world. Not just news agencies inside the United States, not just broadcasters inside the United States, not just YouTubers and content creators from the United States, but try to get the world's perspective on what's going on, and you will soon and quickly realize that they see it very clearly, that they are under no illusions of what Donald Trump is doing. There's no question as to the appeasement process that he has now undertaken in order to give Vladimir Putin anything he wants, anything he chooses to end this war, so that Donald Trump can brag about ending the war, and it can be used to justify his fucking Nobel Peace Prize. But this is just a short little clip from James O'Brien. This was before the Alaska summit. So this was James O'Brien previewing the Alaska summit and Donald Trump's relationship with Vladimir Putin. I just want to play a couple minutes of this, and then I'll go on to thanking all of you incredible, incredible individuals and fine fucking people that have contributed financially to the show, and everybody that has liked, shared, and subscribed to the channel in recent days or ever. Thank you so much. So just a couple minutes of this, if I can.
Alone 1.5 million humans, all of whom, of course, had two parents, many of whom would have had children, siblings, wives, husbands, partners. 1.5 million human beings.
Oh, here you. I'll play this because this is where he's talking about the actual body count here.
To conceive of figures that we can visualize. You know, if you imagine 400,000 casualties have been recorded. So international studies, it's very hard to get accurate casualties, including deaths was.
So he was asked a question. He was asked a question. And this is James O'Brien, LBC's leading fucking commentator, one of the highest rated people on Britain's broadcast fucking system, somebody that's involved in the news every single day, somebody that covers this shit. And he was asked, how many people do you think have died? How many casualties do you think have been sustained, right, in this war so far? And he goes on to say what his answer was.
Question was actually casualties. But either way, what would you say the total casualties, including deaths, was? It's about 1 million. So there's a study that came out in June from the US-based.
And he goes on. He said previously to this, and we don't have time to play it, but he said that his answer to the question was roughly 250,000. And he said he kind of got the question. He was kind of confused about the question because he thought he was talking about just strictly deaths and not casualties. But this just goes on to show that people not only don't really have a comprehension of just how many people have died and have been, fucking mortally wounded in this conflict on both sides, but the number, even if you do hear it, is hard to comprehend. So I think it was Joseph Stalin, and I think he says in this something similar, and I'm paraphrasing here. Joseph Stalin said, something along the lines of the death of a single soldier is a tragedy. The death of 1,000 soldiers is just a statistic. And, excuse me if I'm butchering that or if I'm paraphrasing that incorrectly, but it just goes to show that the death of a single soldier can be seen by somebody as the tragedy that it is. But when you get on to talking about the deaths of 10,000, 1,000, 10,000, 50,000, 100,000, 1 million soldiers, it's tough to comprehend. And he does a good a job of kind of comparing it to, like, if you ever seen, like, in the new cruise ships, you'll have inside them, or when they're talked about, you'll see, like, how many Titanics could fit inside them, or how many Eiffel Towers could fit inside them, or, how many Statues of Liberty tall this building is, to kind of give you a way to visualize in your mind just the scale of what we're talking about. And there's no real way to do that with death and destruction on the battlefield, right? There's no way to comprehend 1 million casualties as an American, right? As a European even. It's almost impossible to fathom.
For strategic and international studies, it's very hard to get accurate figures, particularly from the Russian side. It's much easier from the Ukrainian side.
Sorry, no, somebody said he's on speed. No, I have it sped up. That's my fault. I have it sped up. That's my apologies.
Where it is estimated that between 60 and 100,000 people have been killed and 400,000 casualties have been recorded. So, and it is about 250,000 deaths for the Russian military. So you've got, give or take, 1.5 million human casualties in this war. And that was from the end of June. So it will be a little higher now. And it's on VJ Day, on the 80th anniversary of VJ Day. It's easy, isn't it, I forget the exact quote, but the idea that there's a point at which a number becomes too big to properly process. Do you know what I mean? It's much easier to conceive of figures that we can visualize.
And of course, he's talking about this at a very poignant time, as you just heard him talk about VJ Day, victory over Japan, in World War II. There was VE Day and VJ Day. And, to think about what we're seeing now at a time where we're supposed to be honoring and celebrating the sacrifices and, the indignities and the horrors that were faced during World War II, and the heroic acts that need to be undertaken and seen just to liberate Europe and liberate people from the grasp of Joseph Stalin and fucking Adolf Hitler. And to put that into context in what we're seeing today in Gaza from Israel, what we're seeing today in Ukraine from Russia, seeing today in the appeasement process now undertaken by Donald Trump, related to Vladimir Putin. It's wild to see. It's wild to fucking see. And history doesn't repeat. It's impossible for history to do the same exact thing, but human nature, human behavior does have a way of repeating itself. And there are certain types of people that are always in existence, and they tend to pop up in situations similar to what we're facing now, similar to World War II, where, they have a thought where appeasing a dictator is the way to go. They have a thought where, letting Israel continue its genocide on the Palestinian people is the way to go, and not being forceful with Russia to end its war in Ukraine is the way to go. And somehow those people end up on television. They end up with cameras in their faces and microphones in their faces and in positions of power. And we have to make sure to do everything to call them out and battle them every single fucking day. So let me get into thanking everybody, and then I'll let you get out of here. I believe Michael Fanone just started a live, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll see if I can send you guys over there after that. Tell Mr. Fanone that Boston Brian and everybody here at Blunt Politics sent you and said hello afterwards. But let me see if I can get through the contributions here. Sheldon, thank you so much for your kind and generous contributions to the channel, as always. Bobby Slacks, same thing. Thank you so much, brother. Heroyam Slava, love right back to you. I will definitely pass it on to Mel and Logan. And all of the Bryantologists always give their love and greetings back. Tomas, thank you so much. 18 in life, you got it. 18 in life, thank you so much for your 18 months of loyalty. Fucking fantastic. I appreciate that. Not only that, but you're going above and beyond to give 10 gifted memberships to 10 fantastic people in the chat is really powerful and meaningful and goes a long way in supporting this community. So thank you, Tomas. I really do appreciate you, as well as Patrick. Sally, Patrick, thank you so much for always gifting the memberships that you gift. Do a fantastic job of making sure that you stay engaged and involved and supporting this channel. And I thank you so much for doing so. Same thing with Sally, being here for, 15 months is amazing. I saw an American president in love with Putin, degrading America and American soldiers. That's what Sally got out of the Alaskan summit with Vladimir Putin, and she's spot on. She's spot on. Thank you, Ruben. Let's fucking go, Ruben. Appreciate you, brother. Hope you find a warm and welcoming home there in the chat. Hope you enjoy what you're hearing and like what you're seeing. And I appreciate you for joining the family. I really do. I really do. Thank you, Bry, for that cup of coffee. Thank you very much, dude. I appreciate that. Really means a lot. Goes a long way in helping. Again, you two can literally go a long way in being the production in producing hopefully what I consider quality content like this by busting and contributing a buck or two, $4, $5, whatever it might be. Whatever you can possibly sway with, and it doesn't affect you in any other your facets of life. And then I would very much thank you for doing so. I really do. Nordez, thank you as always. JD, thank you as always. Let's see who else. Did I forget anybody? Nope. JD. And then I got Sheldon. Brian, I believe it's important to invite Lev Parnas as a guest. I will do my best. Let me see if I missed anybody on Venmo, and then I will send you guys over to Michael Fanone's live stream if that's at all possible for me to do. Oh, thank you, Yaakov. Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Damon. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Claudia. Thank you, Teague. Thank you, James, Jennifer, Nicole. As always, thank you to my sister Kelly. As always, I love you. I appreciate you guys. Get out of your seats. Get into the streets. Find your nearest protest. Find your nearest rally. Stay out there. Stay loud. Stay proud. Stay aggressive, ladies and gentlemen. Stay fucking aggressive. Keep your head in a swivel. Stay safe out there. I'll see you guys Sunday for the main show. Make sure you guys are continuing to kick ass like I know you can, like I know you were born to do. And then join me right here back on Sunday for another episode of Blunt Politics. I'm Boston Brian. This is the political podcast made to sift through the lies, propaganda, and bullshit of the mainstream media, the Republican Party, and Donald Trump in particular, to break it down for the normal working class individuals of this country, like you, like me, that make this country run. So I appreciate you. I'll see you Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your day. Tell everybody I said hello. Tell Michael I said thank you for everything that he's doing. Thank you for his service. And make sure you know that. Make sure you tell him I sent you. All right. Make sure you tell him I sent you. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you Sunday. Later.
Certain distance, then it stops, you see. A revolution gets its name by always coming back around in your face. You tried to kill me, you son of a bitch. So welcome to the revolution.
Like we always do about this time.
You're a nation that just recently heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat your when you ran out the healthy arms, you ran out of really healthy. They had great arms, but they ran out. It's called sports. It's called baseball in particular, and pitchers, I guess you could say, in really particular. Appreciate those camels. I haven't seen camels like that in a long time.
I mean, they've been conserved since the time of lobsters, right? There weren't trees around when lobsters first manifested themselves on the planet.
Bad news, bad news. Even when it's good news, it's bad news.
Tell the director to call the White House. Do your fucking job!
Taking it back to Nevada where he's wanted for banging horses. I say mud, I said crud. You fall into some crud or something?
My superpower's being honest. I will eat my neighbors. A crescendo, a finale, a coup de grace.
Or go fuck yourself.
No, get those lights off! Off! Turn them off, they're too bright, turn them off!
I'm just dandy. I got a bowl of chocolate pudding in my underpants.
You referred to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small.
I'm just dandy.
Hey, you got a little chubby going there.
He referred to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small.
Hey, you got a little chubby going there.
I can just tell you that a con artist is about to take over the Republican Party and the conservative movement, and we have to put a stop to it. There's no way we are going to allow a con artist to take over the conservative movement, and Donald Trump is a con artist.
Always calling me Little Marco. And I'll admit, the guy, he's taller than me, he's like 6'2", which is why I don't understand why his hands are the size of someone who's 5'2".
Man,
people are a mortal danger to you and your loved ones. Is there anything worse than white people?
I'm just an average guy who read public documents where the elite said they were going to enslave us and destroy America, and I'm not going to be like yuppie scum and deny the threat to my country. I'm going to fight back.
Call them dumps, big massive dumps.
Obama. Yesterday, though, I'd work for me. The big, fat, sloppy